Hello, this is teacher Alyson, and I'm here with this new video to help you to improve your English. In this lesson, we are going to study about verb tenses, and different types of auxiliaries from present, past, future, and conditional. So, before we start studying about tenses and how to make and answer questions, we must consider that, we are studying the English language. So, we must know what are the countries which speak English as official language. So, we have, in this slide, you can see a lot of flags like United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, North Ireland, Ireland or Republic of Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, India, United States, and Canada. The first flag, United Kingdom, it's a mix, it's a group of countries. United Kingdom is compounded by England, Scotland, Wales, and North Ireland. But the composition of this flag, it was included only England, Scotland, and North Ireland. But the four countries participate of this group. They have similar culture, language, and now they have the same currency, the pounds. Okay, so after this fast moment, let's go to the theme of our class: how to make questions and answers in English. So I have a project, my life project, my project of life is to become my students fluent in the English language. Independently the way I work, the school I work. So I have some partners. The project was idealized by me. My focus is to help my students to speak and understand when people speak English. So I have some partners like Zila Belém, one of the schools I teach. It's one of my partners. And the other one is Sister Germano Correia. The other is school that I teach. Okay, so let's go. So the class theme today is questions and short answers in English. How to make questions in English and how to answer those questions in a short time, in a short way. Okay, so for these lessons we are going to include the present simple, past simple, future simple, and conditional, or simple past, simple present, simple future, and conditional. So at the end of this class, you should be able to answer those questions in a sentence or a speech. Who is a person, a subject, or a pronoun? 2. What are auxiliaries? Which are the auxiliaries? For whom each auxiliary is useful? How to make questions in English and how to answer those questions in a short form for the present, past, future, and conditional tenses. So let's go, let's work. Before everything, we must think about the structure of the question. To have a question, to make a question, to build a question, you must have some points, some topics. For example, first of all, you have to decide the tense. In English, differently from the Portuguese language, we use auxiliaries or words to indicate that in that point of the sentence, it's the beginning of a question. In the past, in the present, in the future, in the conditional, so on. Okay, these four auxiliaries, we have one auxiliary for each tense, one for the past, one for the present, one for the future, one for conditional. Okay, in this slide, in my methodology, I use colors to indicate. Red indicates past, blue indicates present, green always indicates future, and purple always indicates uncertainty, doubts, when you are not sure about something. Okay, so the auxiliaries are did, do, will, you would. You are going to use those auxiliaries to create your question. So, Alyson, am I obligated to use these auxiliaries in the beginning of my sentence? Yes. Not exactly in the beginning, but before the person of the question, okay? Before the subject. Okay, so let's see how they work. So the first step is to put the auxiliary depending of the tense. If you want a question in the past, you use did. If you want a question in the present, you use do. If you want a question in the future, you use will. If you want a question indicating something that is not sure, some doubts, you use would. After that, after decide which tense to use and which auxiliary to use, you decide which person to use. Because when you ask questions, normally we do questions for people, right? Or at least we have a subject. So we have to use a person, a subject, or a pronoun. Person and subject are almost the same thing. They indicate the action of the sentence. Okay? What is it? What they are practicing, what they are doing, what they are feeling, what they are suffering sometimes. Yeah? And the pronoun are the category that is used to substitute nouns, to change nouns. But it's almost the same thing. You can have a person or a subject, Mary, Maria, John, João, Peter, Pedro, or you can substitute those nouns for pronouns, ele, ela, eles, elas. Okay? And the third step is to use an action, a verb. What do you want to express? What do you want to ask about an action? Okay? So, like to eat is a verb, to drink, to dream, to write. Okay? Actions. And the last step is to put a question mark. Okay? So, one, to put an auxiliary, you have to decide if you want a question in the past, present, future, or conditional. A person after an action or a verb and the question mark. Okay? So, did indicates past, do indicates present, will indicates future, and would indicates conditional. Okay, so here we have some examples of sentences we can build. For example, if you use did, né, plus Mary as subject plus eat, you have the question, did Mary eat pineapple? Mary comeu, né, abacaxi. In the present, do Peter drink juice? Do Peter drink juice? Pedro bebe. Now it's present. Do present, okay? Suco. Future. Will the cats drink milk? Will indicates future. Question in the future. Will the cats drink milk? Os gatos beberão ou vão beber leite? Conditional. Would the dogs eat meat? Would the dogs eat meat? Os cachorros comeriam, doubt, né? Meat, carne. Okay? So, and you can use names of people, names of place, pronouns like I, you, he, she, it, and you decide, okay? But never forget to use the auxiliaries before the subject or the person or the pronoun. And after the person, use a verb you want, any verb you want, and the question mark. This is the 4 steps to create a complete sentence in English. Okay, using different tenses, present, past, future, and conditional. For example, I have a list here, a chart with different verbs in English. So let's practice. Let's use the verb number 1. So let's use the auxiliary for present. What's the auxiliary for present? Do. So you put do in the auxiliary, a person. I. The verb one, like what? Like what? Cars. Do I like cars? Eu gosto de carros. Verb number 2. Let's use the past. The auxiliary of past is past. Did. Yes. Did. Let's use the person you. You. Okay? Did you want what? Want a house? Did you want a house? In Portuguese, we can translate in two versions, two passes, né? Did you want a house? Você quis ou queria uma casa? Okay? Verb number 3, future. What's the auxiliary for future? Will. Perfect. Will. Let's use Mary, the person, the subject. Okay? And now, will Mary need help? Will Mary needs help? Will Mary need help? Sorry. A Maria vai precisar ou precisará, né? Two possibilities in Portuguese of translations. A Maria precisará de ajuda. Will Mary need help? Okay, so my suggestion is that you practice using all those verbs in different tenses, making questions. But let's finalize the last question with the conditional. When you are not sure about, you want something happens, but you are not sure if it will happen. Okay, the conditional. So let's use the verb have. Okay, have what? Have a birthday party, festa de aniversário. Okay, let's use John. Okay, so the auxiliary of conditional is would. Would João have, ter, né? Would João have? With would fica, it makes teria. Because the would gives us the termination in Portuguese of aria, iria. It's a clue. Okay? Ter with would, teria. Dúvida, doubt. Okay? Okay, so let's go. Would, I forgot the name of the person. would Peter have what? Would Peter have courage to study English? O Pedro teria coragem para estudar inglês? Sure, he would. Né? Okay, so my suggestion is that you practice all this list of verbs, try to memorize, try to create questions with all those verbs, okay? So you will be very fluent soon. So, did, past, do, present, will, future, and would conditional. And after that, we put the person and the verb and the question mark. Okay, so we have sometimes to answer questions. Sometimes we answer those questions in the positive way. Sometimes we answer those questions in a negative way. So if you want to answer a question, you should use the same auxiliaries. Okay, the first chart, did, do, will, you, would, are used to make questions and to answer questions in a positive way. But we have adaptations to create negative auxiliaries, tá? Like did plus not, do plus not, will plus not, would plus not. Or the contractions, the abbreviations. Did not is the same of didn't. Do not is the same of don't. Will not is the same of won't. And would not is the same of wouldn't. Okay, so did not to didn't, and all the rest are used for negative sentences. Teacher, what's the difference between did not, didn't, do not, don't, will not, won't, would not, wouldn't? Basically, when you have two words, the auxiliary plus not separatedly, you use to write because it's more formal. When you have the abbreviation of them, so you use more for conversations, talk to someone, okay? Because it's easier to pronounce. Okay, so imagine a timeline. So in this timeline, we have the past, present, future, and conditional. For present questions, we use did, present do, future will, and conditional would. Okay, in the negative form, didn't, don't, won't, you wouldn't. You can make questions in the negative and you answer questions in the negative too. It's possible, totally possible. Okay, so let's try to answer those questions we finalized. We talked in the beginning of our class. Okay, so let's go. Pause your video, try to answer, and you can check the answers later. So what's a person? A person is someone who practices the action, practice the verb. Subject is the same, is who practices the action. And pronoun is almost the same, is a word that substitutes the noun. Pronoun, em prol do nome, substitui o nome, okay? Great. What are auxiliaries? Auxiliaries are words that there are not translations, but they indicate that in that point of the sentence, it's the beginning of a question and indicates to the tense of the question, present, past, future, conditional. What are the auxiliaries? Do, did, will, you would. For present, we have this, but in this lesson, we are not going to study it for a while, okay? Short answers. So let's start the short answers. When you have a question, do you study English? In the present, do you study English? Você estuda inglês? We have two possibilities, the positive short answer and the negative short answer. You can say, yes, I study English, the longer, but it's not so useful. Let's use the same auxiliary to answer the question, the same auxiliary you use to make the question, you answer the question. Okay, so do you study English? Yes, I do. It means sim, eu estudo inglês, using do. Did you study English? Past. Você estudou inglês? Yes, I did. Sim, eu estudei inglês. Future. Will you study English? Você estudará ou vai estudar inglês? Yes, I will. Ok? Você estudaria? Would you study English? Yes, I would. And the negative? No, I don't. No, I didn't. No, I won't. And no, I wouldn't. So don't means no, I don't study English. No, I didn't study English. No, I won't study English. No, I wouldn't study English. So it's not necessary to repeat all the sentence. You use only the auxiliary you used for questions, you use to the answer. Okay? Very short answers. Very easy. So those are the answers for the questions. Okay? But we previously talked about it. If you have any question, please write me, ask me, and we can talk about these topics. Okay? Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye.